Once upon a time, there was a wealthy man named Nabi. He possessed immense fortune and countless cattle and sheep. Yet he had no children to inherit his estate after his death. Nabi always lived with the sorrow of being childless. He had a clever shepherd. One day, Nabi's shepherd drove the flock to the foot of a tall mountain. Suddenly, a thick fog and drizzle enveloped everything, and the surroundings became as dark as night. The shepherd stood amidst the sheep. A little later, the fog lifted and the sky cleared, but a fierce storm suddenly broke out. The shepherd fell prostrate on the ground, and the sheep huddled together. The storm subsided. The shepherd saw a newborn child among the flock, a child with only one eye on its forehead. The shepherd milked a sheep and fed the child. In the evening, the shepherd wrapped the child in felt and brought it home to his master and his wife. The master and his wife were overjoyed. The wife began to raise the child as if it were her own. One day, the wife fed Tepegöz and placed him in the cradle. She rolled up her sleeves and kneaded a large bowl of dough. She left the dough inside and went out to light the fire. As soon as the wife left, Tepegöz jumped out of the cradle. He ate all the dough in the blink of an eye and climbed back into the cradle. The wife lit the fire and placed the sack, baking plate, over it. She came home to take the dough and bake it. She found the bowl empty. There was no one else in the house besides the child. How could a 5-day-old child eat dough? This was unbelievable. The wife suspected that jinns or devils had taken the dough. She kneaded another large bowl of dough. As soon as she went out again, Tepegöz jumped out of the cradle. He ate the dough and climbed back into the cradle. The wife returned and saw that the dough was gone again. She kneaded and baked it a third time. A few days later, this incident happened again. One day, the master separated 2 lambs and brought them into the house to slaughter them the next morning. The wife fed Tepegöz again and went out. As soon as she left, Tepegöz jumped from the cradle to the ground. He ate both lambs and climbed back into the cradle. The master and his wife entered and saw that the lambs had been eaten, only bones remaining. This time, too, they suspected jinns or devils. They decided to build a new house elsewhere and move. They got up and went to consult their neighbor. At this moment, the neighbor's child came to their house. Tepegöz, seeing him alone, jumped from the cradle. He tore the child apart and ate him. After this incident, the master and his wife slept at the neighbor's house out of fear. However, they would still return home during the day. A few days passed. Tepegöz became extremely hungry. He said to his mother, "Mother, give me some bread. I am very hungry." His mother brought him some bread. Tepegöz ate all the bread in one bite and then said, "Mother, this bread won't satisfy my hunger. Bring all the bread in the house." His mother was astonished and brought out all the bread in the house. Tepegöz finished eating, but was still not satisfied. At this moment, a buffalo came to the door. Tepegöz overpowered and ate it, yet was still not satisfied. Then he kissed his mother's hand and said, "Mother, even if I eat all your wealth, I will not be satisfied. People call me Tepegöz. Please give me your blessing. I will go and build a cave for myself." Tepegöz kissed his mother's hand and left. He came to a fortress and made it his home. Tepegöz went rampant, plundering and seizing, gathering a large flock of sheep. His sheep were as large as horses and buffaloes. He always grazed his sheep himself. He had pulled out a large plane tree to use as his club. He could tear apart and eat 3 sheep at one sitting. To satisfy his craving, he would also eat a person on top of that. Neither humans nor animals dared to approach his fortress. Tepegöz's evil deeds did not end there. At night, he would enter villages, tearing apart and devouring people. He also captured many alive and took them to his cave. As a result, the people were completely starving. Mother's milk dried up. People decided to flee from Tepegöz and go to other countries. At such a time, Kamar, the daughter of a man named Imran, was pregnant. While fleeing, Kamar went into labor in the forest and gave birth to a child. She named that child Iskandar. She tied an armband to his arm and abandoned him in a cave in the forest. At this moment, a bush scratched the baby's forehead and the child bled. His mother tore her scarf, bandaged her child's head. She kissed her child's eyes and then tearfully parted from him. It turned out that this cave was a lioness's den. Indeed, evening came, and the lioness returned to her cave after hunting and praying. When she entered, she saw a child crying in her cave. At first, she wanted to eat him, but then she felt pity. She approached the child, saw he was hungry, and fed him with her own milk. The child drank the lioness's milk and stopped crying. The lioness made a soft place for the child with grass and put him to sleep there. Every day, the lioness breastfed the child to his fill and then went hunting. She would return in the evening and feed him again. Thus, the child grew and reached the age of 10. All of the child's habits and behaviors resembled the lioness. He was also so strong that he could move mountains if he touched them. Now, let me tell you news about Tepegöz. Not even a bird could alight around the fortress where he lived. No matter how many armies and heroes were sent against him, they could not succeed, because swords, spears, and arrows could not harm Tepegöz. The lioness narrated this story to Iskandar. Iskandar said, "Mother, allow me to set out. I want to learn about Tepegöz's abode and see what kind of creature he is." The lioness said, "Oh, my son, he is enchanted. You will fall into his trap, and he will eat you. Do not go." Iskandar said, "Mother, I will not go to his cave, rest assured." The lioness tried many times to persuade him, but her son did not change his mind. Finally, she agreed and said, "Go, but do not wander around Tepegöz's cave. If he finds out, he will tear you to pieces. For safety, take some of my hair. If you are in trouble, call me, and I will come." Iskandar bade farewell to the lioness and set off on his journey. He traveled far, crossing valleys and hills, and came to a wasteland. He saw a group of people going somewhere. Iskandar approached them and asked, "Brother travelers, where are you going?" They said, "We are fleeing from Tepegöz." Iskandar asked, "What has Tepegöz done to you?" They said, "What else could he do? He ate all the children. He ruined all our villages." Iskandar asked, "Can you show me his fortress?" They said, "Look, it's on the top of that visible mountain." Iskandar asked, "Is he always in that fortress?" One of the travelers said, "During the day he grazes sheep. At night he sleeps in the fortress. Brother, our talk will give the calf to the wolf. Tepegöz will come and eat us. Let's quickly run away from here." Iskandar said, "He cannot reach here." As they were speaking, a roar was heard. Tepegöz appeared from one side of the wasteland, with his flock of sheep in front of him. When Tepegöz saw them, he flew over their heads like a vulture. He pulled out his club, gave a loud shout, and herded all three of them into the flock. He grazed the animals until dusk. When darkness fell, he drove the flock back to his fortress. He also herded the people into the cave along with the animals. The door of Tepegöz's cave was a rock as large as a mountain. Tepegöz would close the entrance of a cave when he gathered the sheep into the cave or let them out to graze. He came to Iskandar and his companions. He examined two of the people with his hand and said, "Your flesh is not good to eat. You are too thin. I need to fatten you up a bit." Then he went towards Iskandar. As he was about to reach for Iskandar, Iskandar struck him with such a punch. Tepegöz trembled with pain. It was as if light came to his eye, and he said, "Well done. You are truly a powerful hero. It has been a long time since I desired the flesh of a hero." Iskandar said, "Am I some kind of chicken that you would eat me?" Tepegöz said, "In my hands, you are smaller than a chicken." This remark by Tepegöz angered Iskandar. He drew his sword and struck Tepegöz on the head. Tepegöz laughed loudly and said, "Oh, hero, do not tire your arm. Your sword cannot cut me." Iskandar saw that indeed the sword had no effect on Tepegöz. He stepped aside, looking for a way to escape Tepegöz's grasp. Where would his cries for help reach? He had come to Tepegöz himself as food. Tepegöz looked at Iskandar carefully and said, "I see you are troubled, so I will not eat you today. I will save you for tomorrow. Now I will eat these thin ones." Tepegöz finished speaking and skewered Iskandar's companions. He lit a fire. He roasted the people until they were red-hot and ate them. Iskandar saw that Tepegöz had eaten each of his companions, leaving only a piece, and then put a sheep under his head as a pillow and fell asleep. As soon as Tepegöz fell asleep, Iskandar quickly got up. He killed a sheep, cooked and ate its meat, then pulled its skin over his head and entered the flock. Some time passed. Tepegöz awoke from his sleep, and no matter how he looked, he could not see Iskandar. He searched the cave, but could not find Iskandar. Tepegöz was utterly bewildered. There was no way out of the cave.
How did this happen then?
He opened the mouth of the cave and drove the sheep out of it. Iskandar also left with the sheep. He was indistinguishable from the sheep, looking for an opportunity to escape. Tepegöz spread the sheep on the green pasture at the foot of a mountain. He himself put his head on a stone and fell asleep. As soon as Iskandar saw this, he took off the skin from his head and threw it aside. He went straight to his lioness mother and told her the whole story. His lioness mother said, "Well done, my son. You have escaped from his hands well." Iskandar said, "Mother, how can Tepegöz be killed then?" The lioness said, "Son, there is an arrow in his cave. Whoever touches that arrow, it will shoot out and kill him. If you shoot him in the eye with that arrow, he will die. Nothing else can kill him. However, taking that arrow is a difficult matter." Iskandar said, "Mother, that tyrant skewered and ate people right before my eyes. Help me, I will go and kill him." The lioness said, "Son, give up this idea. You cannot kill him. He will eat you." Iskandar said, "Mother, I will go. Either Allah helps me or he wins." Iskandar bid farewell to the lioness and set off on his journey once again. He quickly reached Tepegöz's fortress. Tepegöz had woken up by this time and was grazing outside the fortress. He saw Iskandar and shouted loudly, "Oh, hero, I thought you had escaped. I told you my sword could not cut me, but you did not believe me. Did you try to escape?" Iskandar said, "No, I never intended to escape. I went back because I was feeling unwell. Now I feel better, so I came here to eat your flesh." Tepegöz heard these words and became furious. He roared and rushed towards Iskandar, saying, "I let you live until today, and you say such things." Iskandar began to wrestle with Tepegöz. They wrestled for 7 days and 7 nights. On the 7th day, Tepegöz was exhausted. He fell to the ground and fell asleep. Iskandar saw this, quickly got up, and entered the cave. He searched for the arrow. He discovered that whichever arrow he touched, it would shoot out. Finally, he found the arrow that the lioness had mentioned. He took that arrow and came to Tepegöz. He put the arrow on the bow, pulled it with all his might, and shot it into Tepegöz's eye. The arrow pierced Tepegöz's eye, and he shouted loudly, "Oh, hero, you have killed me." Tepegöz grabbed the arrow with his hand and pulled it out. He stroked Iskandar's forehead with his blood-stained hand and said, "You are truly a powerful hero. It was my mistake to let you live until now. I thought you were just a child. Now you have killed my eye. My father, Tepegöz, his eye was also killed in this way."
Now I am also about to die.
But before I die, I have a few more words to say to you. You are a human and I am from the jinn. After I die, do not let anyone enter this cave. Within 7 days, my body will turn into gold. Then you can take them and distribute them among the poor. Tepegöz finished speaking and died. Iskandar covered Tepegöz's body with a piece of cloth. He waited outside the cave for 7 days and 7 nights. After the 7th day, he entered the cave and saw that Tepegöz's body had turned into gold. Iskandar took all the gold and distributed it among the poor. He also came to the place where he had killed Tepegöz.
He saw an old man.
Iskandar asked the old man, "What are you doing here?" The old man replied, "I am here to guard Tepegöz's fortress." Iskandar told him that Tepegöz was dead. The old man was very happy to hear this. He invited Iskandar to his house as a guest. Iskandar went to the old man's house and was treated with great hospitality. A few days later, he returned to his lioness mother. His lioness mother said, "My son, you killed Tepegöz. May Allah bless you. When people fled in fear, they abandoned you in my cave. I raised you as my own child. You avenged the people against Tepegöz. Your mother is Kamar Khanum, the daughter of a man named Imran. She will recognize you. She tied an armband on your arm." Iskandar said sadly, "Please take me to my mother. I want to see her. Then I will return." The lioness said, "Then follow me." The lioness went ahead and Iskandar followed. The lioness led him on a 7-year journey directly to Imran's doorstep. It was night. Imran was having dinner with his wife and children. The lioness kicked the door. Imran came out and saw the lioness and Iskandar and was terrified. When he wanted to go back, the lioness stopped him and said, "Oh, Imran, don't be afraid. Call your daughter Kamar out. We have something to tell her." Imran gathered himself and called out Kamar Khanum. As soon as Kamar Khanum came out, the lioness said, "Oh, Iskandar, this is your mother." Iskandar showed his armband and said, "Mother, this is the armband you tied on my arm when I was born." Kamar Khanum recognized her child and hugged him tightly. She cried for a long time. The lioness said, "Oh, Kamar Khanum, don't cry, your son is a hero." Iskandar's grandfather, Imran, embraced him and said, "My son, what places have you been to?" Iskandar told them everything that had happened. The whole village rejoiced at the reunion of Imran's family. Everyone was proud of Iskandar's bravery. Iskandar reunited with his family and lived a happy life. A single apple fell from the sky for those who heard the story. The story ends.